podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Your father, Sam. And I'm very, very happy to see you.
Were you approached about Tron Legacy? Did you want to do this more than anything else in the world? I mean,
well,
how did you get...
Yeah, it wasn't Tron Legacy. It was, at that point, it was just a property that Disney had. Sean Bailey, the producer, called me in for a meeting, and they were, basically told me they've been trying to figure out what to do with this thing for 10 or 15 years. They didn't have a script. They didn't have a concept. They didn't have the title, Tron Legacy yet. So he just said, I think I was kind of the first director he did. I think I was the only director he met with. He just said, what would your approach be? And, I kind of laid out in broad strokes kind of what you see now, which is this embracing of the original aesthetic, but evolving it to something that felt appropriate for 2010. And, I didn't want to make an internet movie. I didn't want to make a movie like The Matrix. I wanted the world of Tron to feel like Tron. I didn't want it to feel like our world, but I wanted it to be more visceral and realistic and photographic. And so I did a 3-minute test for the studio, which was kind of an audition for me of sorts, kind of showing him the tone, the look, a little hint of the narrative. I got Jeff Bridges to be in it, which was huge. And the studio dug it, and we convinced him to show it at Comic-Con just unannounced. And based on that one screening we did, the kind of response of the fans showed the studio that there was a desire to go back to this world, which was, exactly what we hoped. And so now we're here.
Okay? It's just a game! Not anymore.
So how old were you when Tron came out? In 1982?
In 1982, I was, I guess I turned 8 years old. I think like the rest of the world, I was at E.T. that summer.
Me too.
But I did see Tron, I think, on VHS tape a couple years later, which was kind of a very 80s experience to watch that on VHS. And it was, just blew my mind. It was totally unique, kind of a weird movie. But
were you a sci-fi kid? Do you like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was like your other kid, with the Star Wars and with Mac Paint and all that stuff. And, it's like, that's our generation. There's a fluidity I think our generation has with the computer that a movie like this, you have to be totally comfortable with it, because it really is, our set looked like, NASA launch control some days with the amount of technology that we were combining. But, in the end, you're just trying to tell a great story. And with this movie, I think we're telling a story that couldn't be told up until now. So the time is right, I think, for a return to this world.
As we're walking around Digital Domain today, I keep hearing people saying, "Sorry about the din and the hum. We're rendering stuff right now."
Yeah.
Where what is this? What is the scale of this project?
Well, this movie is it's all the difficulties of an animated film. It's all the difficulties of a live-action film, a 3D film. Illuminated suits, and creating a fully photorealistic human being. We're doing kind of all the hardest stuff in one story at the same time. So the scale's massive. We've got 1,500 visual effects shots in 3D, which means we have to do each shot for both eyes. We're not doing any conversion here. We're rendering every shot for both eyes. Every live action shot in the world of Tron was shot with a stereo camera. So it's, there's thousands and thousands of people working on this film right now all over the world. We conceived this movie in true 3D from the start. We made the commitment to 3D, 2 years before Avatar came out. For the movie, we were able to develop a newer, more updated version than the Avatar system, using Cameron's technology, but putting the latest generation Sony camera into the rig. So I think it's, it was conceived as a 3D movie, and I think people appreciate it when they see the final image, that it looks different than all those converted movies.
I mean, you're really in the crunch time now.
This is it.
We're almost October, and you got till December 17th, man.
less than that, we really have to finish the movie mid-November in order to kind of just make all the prints and get them out there. So it's crunch time. It's the home stretch.
Yeah,